Today I have something so special to show you guys. So from Ferrari came the trio, which was the 360 Modena and then the F430, and all the lessons learned from those two cars comes the special car. .458 Italia, one of my favorite cars in the Ferrari collection, a normal aspirated V8 4.5 liter, just millimeters away from the back seat. You have this astounding, big, beautiful, raw. Today we're going to showcase this car, everything that Glossworx Customs has done on this car in order to restore it, to making it and bringing it back to its originality, a beauty to show you guys, and we can't wait to do that. So let's start off in the back of this car. Let's see why Ferrari has actually put a window or a display glass to display this spectacular beauty. Now, I mean, that, guys, looks amazing. There is a 4.5 liter V8 motor just a couple of inches away from the headrest. You have this most beautiful engine showcased by two glasses. We basically have put back the originality back to this motor. If you look at the motor itself, the 4.5 V8, and you look at the intake basically on most of these Ferraris, and I'm told that it's a common sickness, basically starts to peel. So all the red paint starts to come out, and I'm supposedly thinking that it's because of the high heat intensity delivered from this 4.5 V8 motor. We have taken this intakes completely out and reconditioned them by powder coating it with a high heat process. And if you look at that intake right now and you see the aluminium, because it's cut from pure aluminium billet, if you look at that, it looks back to its originality, and it actually looks nice. When you open up this motor, that is one of the most spectacular features that you see. And if you hear this car idling, which we're going to show you at a later point, it's just complementing everything that's going on in the rear end of this car. So another fine detail that I'd like to show you guys is basically this badge. When you look at this badge, it basically identifies everything that's happening on the car, because you have, like, once again, the horse showing out on the outside here, but then you have this detailed badge back onto the intake, and you look at it and you know it has that black with that aluminium brushed look, and we've restored that badge to look back to its originality. And I think that's something very key on trying to bring detail into anything that you're trying to do, and that just almost pops up everything on that engine, because now it looks so original and it actually looks brand new. So a feature that I really like when it comes to hand-built Ferraris is when you look at the production number on the car itself, and it's got an assembly number right there, and if you go to it, you look at the number right there, it's 100,000, 1,429,000. I'm just kidding with you guys. It's 100,431. I almost just got president syndrome there. Okay, so let's talk about the details on the paintwork. This is where we specialize. This is where we're always proud to say Glossworx paint job. So let's look at the paint, and if you look at the paint, you can see that color once again, that red, deep Ferrari look, and that's obviously not just painted, it's also protected. So what we've done after we painted, we go through the whole 3-stage polishing process in order to bring out that depth and that deep shine that everyone likes, which we call the wet look. Now the wet look obviously comes off the gun. Everyone says that because once you shoot any car in any spray booth and you lay down that clear coat in the right way, you get what we call the wet look. We try to capture back that wet look with the way we polish and shine the car, and then finally we protect it putting PPF, which is paint protection film. If you looked at this car right now, you won't even think there's paint protection on top of it. It looks just like pure, deep, amazing paint. but it has PPF on it and it's seamlessly fitted onto the car, and I think it looks amazing. I think it's something that will just protect that car, give you the longevity, and it's just gonna look nicer for longer. Guys, once again, look at the wheel itself, look at the detail in the spray work. Look at how the color is popping once again. So this is once again a wheel that's not sent out to anyone to recondition or refurbish. It's painted in-house by Glossworx, and I'm sure you can see that it's not just your traditional type of painting. Once again, it's got base coat, clear coat on, so the gloss is giving you depth in the wheel, which makes it look super amazing, I think. Guys, now let's discuss the details that make a paint job actually look amazing. So when I look at a paint job and I see many cars that come in from time to time that has been painted previously, years ago, or currently, I always see that people seem to miss one most important factor. And for me, those factors are these. So if you paint in a car, you have to remove rubbers. All the rubbers, whether it's window rubbers, whether it's side window rubbers, whether it's rear rubbers, whether it's badges, everything must come out. And that's why we always call it never a blow over. We always call it a full painted job. And a full spray job always entitles that you remove everything and you go down to metal. The results in moving down to metal gives you the detail that you actually require. And if you look at this car here, and the details that I'm speaking about right now is when you see the rubbers that's fitted onto the car, you see every panel, the way it's clipped in, you see the lights, the way it sits on, the mirrors, everything that actually attaches externally back onto the car all looks original. You cannot fault that because the processes were done correctly, and the process, when it's done correctly, this is the result. The result is pure perfection. So we spoke about the rubbers and we talked about going down to metal and the right way of doing things. Now that flow I spoke about is that here you're not seeing no mask lines inside the inner door jambs. So basically when you do blowovers and you do anything when it comes to paint, you're basically painting over and then you're masking the inside of the doors and you're starting to get painted lines inside and no flow or color characteristics moving into the paint. So in this car, when you look at what a good paint job is supposed to look like, then you see that everything flows and inclusive into the door jambs itself, and that gives you perfect color. There's no color adjustments, there's no differences in color, and it actually looks good. It stands out and you can never say the car was repainted. So I think that's a crucial point for you guys who wants to spray your car in the future, to always remember one thing. Saving money never gets you to the perfection that you require. Always do the job correctly. Find out what are you actually doing on the car. If it's coming to a spray job and you want the spray job to be done correctly, make sure it's going down to metal. Make sure that all the lines up and filed pulled correctly, and make sure that the flow of the gun goes into the car doors itself, and doors maybe if they should be removed. I always think that you should actually take it out if you want a perfect paint job. So let's go into the interior of the car now. So for me, what's most important, especially when it comes to a restoration of this sort, what you need to actually do is you need to bring the car back to original or factory spec, which is known as OEM. So in a lot of cases, sometimes understandably you cannot go there because you might have damages on panels that cannot be repaired. On this particular car itself, when we look at it, yes, the panels were in, well, 15 years on the road, so you can imagine there were a few love marks on the seats and a few bad things that were happening. But we managed to kind of iron out all of that. We managed to restore these seats back to factory. So for you guys who don't understand what it means to restore seats, restore seats is not recovering or reupholstering seats. To restore seats means there's a process done where we sand the seats down, we remove all the old dye from the seats itself, we fill up all those cracks, and then we repaint the seats. For a car like this, it's kind of tricky at some points because you have a red stitch running in there and you got a black dye, so you kind of have to mask down these lines with certain systems that we use. So it's a bit challenging, but I think we pulled it off quite uniquely. It looks amazing. It's brought back to its originality and it's protected now. So when it comes to seats, these are the processes to follow. Never try and just recover or reupholster a seat if you're trying to look for originality. Always go back and see, okay, can these seats be saved? And if it's saved, how to and what is the process, and will it look as original as possible? Have a look at these seats and you guys can comment on what you think about them. Another common problem that occurs in these type of cars, and I think a lot of the BMWs as well, is what we call sticky switches. A lot of these sticky switches come on and you can see the factory clear coat that they put onto these switches start to come off, and it has that sticky feeling. There's a way of restoring it, and if you look here right now, all these switches in the initial period or phase of this car were all sticky switches. We managed to bring them all back to originality once again. It looks amazing. When you're sitting in the car, it doesn't feel like it's faded, and that's the one thing that always irritates me, and I think a lot of you guys will agree with that, is the sticky switches. When you look at those sticky switches, no matter how deep and no matter how good the restoration is, it just puts off everything. So we have a way also, and if you guys are willing to learn these tricks and trades, we will be having eventually some videos that we're going to be producing, myself and Rob, to actually teach you guys DIY how to do certain things at home in the comfort of your own home to make certain things look good. So stay tuned for that for some time. I think we'll be speaking about this a lot in the next few months to come, because we're putting some modules together for you guys, especially when it comes to cleaning and doing things on your own, so that you could spend some time at home doing some amazing work, weekend warrior. Coming back to the interior on this car, I just want to show you a panel that was replaced. So we spoke about the whole restoration phase in terms of trying to restore back to the originality. Here's a panel that we were forced to change and reupholster. Have a look at that panel, and that panel is now also almost kind of factory reset, because I think we've got it pretty much very close to the originality. And if you stand next to where I'm standing right now, it's almost a glassed feature of what you actually can see on the cockpit itself. So if you come around and you look at that, you'll see that we got it as close as possible to the original, and that's recovered. But you know, that took a lot of time to also get it to looking that way and to find the right stitch that complements the original of the car itself. Okay, so let's take a good look at the undercarriage of this car. So there was a lot of processes that we actually did to bring the undercarriage back to life. So with Ferrari, you have many of these covers underneath the car, and on this car, most of the covers, I would say 90% of the undercarriage covers, were all damaged, and damaged badly. So we had to reconstruct the fiberglass in order to bring back the life of this. And we went through our whole process of basically using a bit of fiberglass here, there and the other, and then putting some body filler and stitching it to get it back to looking original. Once again, when it comes to Ferrari and buying parts, the parts are ridiculously expensive, and sometimes you cannot even get it. So we used a process. That process worked out fine for us, because in the end the covers actually looked brand new. Another part was the undercarriage itself, so the suspension, the engine, underneath the wheel arches, all of those, that was really bad. And because of time, I think, and this particular car was used, there was a lot of cleaning up to do. We decided to go with the dry ice blasting process because we didn't want any electrical failures or any electrical problems, or we didn't want to get into any of the bushes in the suspension itself and damage any of that or get it to rust at a later stage. We went with the dry ice blasting process, and if you look at dry ice and the way it cleaned the undercarriage of this car, the results were stunning and phenomenal. It took us 3 days to do the undercarriage itself, the suspension, the underneath, the engine, and all the wheel arches. And I think finally the results came together because this undercarriage looks amazing. We re-lubricated all of the bushes and everything that needed to be lubricated. And the final results were actually stunning. So dry ice blasting, definitely the answer when it comes to the old classic cars. Definitely gets into every nook and cranny of the car. And the results definitely phenomenal. When you look at it from the view that you're looking at right now, you start to see that this car is coming together and it's starting to look as original can look. And now finally, Rob, I'm gonna hand over my mic to you to go there to the tail end of the car to hear this amazing 4.5 liter V8. Go there, my boy.
Let's go.
Ready?
Let's go.
And 3, 2, 1, fire. And there we have another successful delivery. So guys, the customer just picked up his car now. It's so exciting. He was really exciting. You could feel the energy come from this customer. That car has been successfully delivered, and we are super excited now that the car is gone and the owner is happy, and the quality of the workmanship was amazing. He gave us all thumbs up. So thank you guys for viewing this video today, and we hope to see you guys soon. Please guys, don't forget to click on that like and subscribe button. It's very important for us to grow this channel, and we would like you to share this video with as many people as possible. Please, let's make this happen, guys. Thank you.